Okay, so let's get into prejudice and stereotypes, which are words that sound really similar. So let's break down maybe some common words you've heard associated with this topic and how they're different. First, starting off with stereotypes. These are traits. So they're simplified, not always accurate, but simplified traits that you tend to associate with a particular group. So this can be a racial group, a gender, local, what area you're in, whatever type of group. These are thoughts you have about that group. These are cognitions. Whereas prejudices literally stands for prejudgments. Cool. These are judgments about a person based on their group membership. So these are the list of thoughts you have about a person. And this is your actual attitudes, the way that then persuades you to view that person. I'll give you examples in a second if this is still confusing. And then moving on from that, this is what leads to things like discrimination. These are behaviors that are unfair based off these two things, stereotyping and prejudice. So this brings us back a little bit to the cognitions, attitudes, behaviors, things we've been talking about throughout this lecture. So let's go through some examples. A cheesy one first. So for instance, you probably have heard the stereotype that all blondes are dumb. So this is a general thought, trait about a particular group, blondes. A prejudice, an attitude would then be, I don't think that person is smart because they are blonde. So using a stereotype to then form an attitude. And then a discrimination is a behavior. So this is, pulling from Legally Blonde Elle Woods. I'd never accept a blonde into my law school because of these stereotypes and prejudices. So the action, your behavior that actually results from these things. But that's a goofy example. Let's get real. This is a thing in society. So another example, you've probably heard this stereotype a bunch. Came up a lot in the 2016 US election with Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. Stereotype being that women are more emotional than men. So this is a belief, stereotype, trait about a particular group, women, which leads to prejudices or attitudes like women are too emotional to be put into leadership roles. So because of this stereotype, I now have this attitude, which leads to an actual behavior like, I'm not going to vote for any woman that runs for a public office because I believe women are more emotional than men and they're too emotional to be put in leadership roles. So we see this all the time with gender, with race, people discriminating and using actions against that person because of stereotypes. Returning lighthearted again. If for those of you who have seen Zootopia, let's practice this. So I'm gonna probably link this clip down below. And I want you to see if you can identify, if they're all in here, what a stereotype is being used here, what prejudice is then resulting, and what action or discrimination is being taken afterwards. So see if you could try it out.